Aji, and the arrival of Chapter 2 saw a massive overhaul to the game, with a ton of brand new features added to Fortnite. And unlike what happened in previous seasons, where Epic would tell us what's been added, they decided to let us discover what's new for ourselves, as well as explore the brand new map, with it making Fortnite feel like a brand new game again. However, unlike the previous seasons, where Epic would give us detailed patch notes each week, since Chapter 2 began, Epic have completely changed how they communicate with the player base, by deciding to not communicate with us at all. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing why this is a major cause for concern, and whether Epic are likely to change their ways anytime soon. So ever since the live event of Season X, it's been a very confusing time to be a Fortnite fan. The black hole caused the game to go offline for days, with absolutely no communication from Epic about when the game would be back online. With Epic previously being so good at communicating with the players, this was drastically different than anything we've ever witnessed before from them. Everyone was excited to finally get a new map, but we weren't told a single thing about when the game would come back online, which caused a lot of frustration for players. Ultimately though, I do believe that this radio silence was a smart move from Epic, as it led to everyone talking about the game again, and generated so much hype. Epic did everything in their power to be as mysterious as possible. They didn't tweet anything out, they removed the profile picture, replacing it with a black image, and deleted all of their tweets, until eventually the servers came back online, which saw the arrival of Chapter 2. At this point, I think a lot of people, including myself, expected things to go back to normal, with Epic giving us a detailed patch notes like we would get before. However, this wasn't the case, as despite there being a massive amount of changes made to the game, Epic instead released a very short patch notes saying, "Added Chapter 2, take your first drop and discover everything new." And that was literally all they said. So clearly, they wanted us to explore the new map and discover all of the new ways the game had changed ourselves. And although I initially found this frustrating, I ended up warming to this idea, as it brought back a lot of the awe and wonder that we felt when we first started playing. It really felt like we were playing a brand new game again, which I've not felt since the first couple seasons. So in some ways, I have appreciated Epic's lack of communication this season. However, with Fortnite being a game that is continuously updated week after week, Epic's decision to no longer tell us a single thing about the changes to the game has started to really frustrate a lot of the players. There have been many changes made during this season, but I suspect a lot of people will have no idea about these changes, as it's so much harder to find out now. It's led to players having to crowdsource their own version of the patch notes. Like recently, there were a ton of changes made to reload times, and had people not gone out and researched this for themselves, players would have been picking up the affected weapons, thinking they're exactly the same as before, and potentially dying because Epic decided to not tell us that they'd adjusted the loot pool. But not only that, Epic could also be making fundamental changes to the game, and we would have no idea. Like, people are now claiming that the way players take walls has changed. In the past, it would be a coin flip that decides whether you could take someone's wall, as long as you timed it right and had less than 150 ping. But now, people are speculating that the attacker now has a much higher chance of taking the wall. But at this point, we have no idea if this is true, as Epic hasn't said anything to us. For all we know, this could be a bug in the game, or it could be working as Epic intended. But until they start speaking to us again, we won't have a clue. Also, Chapter 2 is the first time we've started a season with skill-based matchmaking and bots in the game. However, we still don't know how either of them work. Last week, I noticed a significant change to matchmaking. Every game got a lot tougher, and I saw far fewer bots, but I don't know what caused that. Did Epic make a change to matchmaking? Had I performed well enough so that the skill-based matchmaking decided they would put me against better players? Or something else? I have no idea. I don't expect Epic to give us an entire breakdown on skill-based matchmaking, otherwise people would inevitably attempt to exploit it. But we need a little bit more transparency. It boggles my mind that Epic are potentially making huge changes to the game without giving players a heads up, especially when they're trying to push the comp scene. We currently have the squads tournaments going on, yet players are going into these games not knowing exactly what they're dealing with Will the blue pump still do 90 base damage? Has the shield spawn rate changed? Or can players rely on the same trees, given a certain amount of wood? These are important questions, even for pubs. But when you're pushing Fortnite as a top tier esport, communicating with your players about changes to the game is crucial. Otherwise, you lose a lot of the game's competitive integrity. This has been a major talking point for a lot of Fortnite's most known players. It's even caused people like Allier and Myth to tweet about it, voicing their concerns. However, I'd like to focus on a few tweets by CypherPK, who I feel really nails the issue on its head. He said, "As a dedicated Fortnite player, I feel like a lack of patch notes is causing unneeded confusion and frustration. It's hard to give feedback if we're not aware of what's being changed. Also, as a long-time content creator, not knowing when updates are happening affects our schedule. The lack of communication behind the choice to not post patch notes also hurts and also causes unneeded speculation. I've been experiencing delayed builds, losing walls more often, coin flips feel different, and other issues that can't be pinned down due to a lack of patch notes. I'm very passionate about this game. Reading the patch notes and planning content around future updates was a big part of the enjoyment I personally got as a content creator and as a competitive player. The lack of information is creating a divide between players and the game, and it seems that these feelings mirror the thoughts of the community at large. As a poll by HypeX found that from over 12,000 people who voted, 90% of players wanted the patch notes back. This is a huge majority, so you would assume that Epic are listening. But this raises another important question. Why remove them in the first place? Back when I started playing Fortnite, it was refreshing seeing just how much they communicated with the players. However, in recent seasons, their updates have been controversial to say the least. Just look at what happened last season with the mechs, or when they removed Siphon from pubs. Player outrage has become a common thing with Fortnite, with a lot of it down to Epic's creative decisions. Because of this, people have speculated whether they're hiding the patch notes as a way to avoid criticism, which is something that I can see being true. People can't complain about things that they don't know about, but this seems like a sly and underhand way of keeping your players happy. You can't run a game like Fortnite that has weekly changes made and not tell your players what's going on. You'll just end up frustrating everyone. The most Epic have communicated with us lately has been the recent tweet about being able to search through your locker. But although that's helpful and needed, it's not one of the most important things that we need to be told. Epic have gone from being one of the best communicators out there to without doubt one of the worst. Although funnily enough, they still communicate with Save the World players. But for players of the BR, we've had almost nothing but silence. This has got to change. But will it? Well, unfortunately, probably not. At least not this season. I don't think they would go this far into the season and then suddenly decide to give us patch notes. But hopefully, next season, Epic will have listened to our feedback and once again start to communicate with us again. Personally, I'd be happy if they decide to let us explore each new season for ourselves and let us see what new weapons, items and map changes have arrived. However, if they're making tweaks to core parts of the game throughout the season, then they need to be telling us. Despite these issues, so far I'd say Chapter 2 has been a big success. But that doesn't mean that everything is perfect. So pulling Epic up on mistakes they make is important and will help to continue Fortnite's success in the long term, which I'm sure everyone watching this video is hopeful for. So, do you think Epic should bring back patch notes? What changes do you think have gone unnoticed? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you want to support me as a content creator, then feel free to use my creator code, which is on the screen now. So anytime you buy something in the item shop and use my code, it will go directly towards supporting the channel, which would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time for another video. Goodbye.